Hey everyone, welcome back to Cosmic Life Astrology. Today we are talking about the Mercury Retrograde happening August 5th through August 28th. Now, I have tried filming this video probably a dozen times. I am a Gemini rising and Mercury Retrograde always affects me. So I'm hoping this will be the last and final time that I'm taping this and I can get through this successfully with no interruptions. So let's dive in before it's too late. Now, Mercury retrograde begins the day after the Leo new moon. And right off the bat, I mentioned this in my Leo new moon video. This foretells a new beginning or a new focus that is going to require some review of the details. There's going to be some things that need to be worked out. We had, in the shadow period on July 21st, Mercury make a square to Uranus. And during that time, we saw some, significant storms happen, a cyber attack happen that affected the airlines. We saw Biden make an announcement about not continuing his campaign for his presidency. And when we are in the retrograde cycle, we will see the square happen again on August 18th. And then when Mercury is done, we will see Mercury direct make a final square to Uranus on September 7th. So what transpired around the 21st of July, there's going to be more conversations and more possible disruptions or changes or compromises needed in order to have that final result when Mercury is direct and makes that last final square in September. I think if you're going to be traveling around this time, you should definitely expect some delays or disruptions in your travels. So be prepared for that. Mercury retrograde making that square to Uranus, there may be a flip of the script that happens, where you may have seen something happen around July 21st during that first square, and then you see the opposite occur during the August 18th square. And then by September 7th, when that final square happens, you may see, basically that middle ground, where, okay, you saw both sides of the page, and now you know what you're taking away from both and how you're going to, go forward. And especially with changes that are being made, we're talking about Uranus being involved, and Uranus likes to change things. So it's an unexpected kind of square to really speak of, because Uranus is the planet of the unexpected. It's kind of hard to predict exactly what's going to transpire. So just be aware of those dates and, pay attention to what already happened in July. You may see some similar situations occur during these times. When we're talking about Mercury retrograde beginning in the sign of Virgo at 4 degrees Virgo, going back into Leo up to the 21st degree of Leo, we're talking about two different areas of focus that are going to be part of the conversation during the retrograde cycle. Virgo is the healer of the zodiac. Virgo is very detail-oriented, a grounded earth sign, and Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, so it's very favorable for Mercury to be there. So Mercury is going to want to go over the details while it's retrograding in Virgo. And when it goes back into Leo, after those details are, being discussed, now it can reconsider and really honor what makes it happy and its heart space, as well as, what Mercury is passionate about and, where Mercury is going to be loyal or who Mercury will be loyal to. The interesting fact that is going to really tone part of this cycle is on August 7th, 2 days after the retrograde begins, we will see Venus and in Virgo basically meeting up with Mercury in the sky as Mercury retrogrades back. And this foretells conversations about love, money, creative projects, what makes Venus happy. What makes this interesting is that Venus just became visible in the night sky again after 3 months of being, hidden in the background and in a period of reflection and introspection, right? As it was invisible for the past few months. So it's as if Venus already went through a process of learning what she wants or what she doesn't want, right? And now when it meets up with Mercury retrograde in the sky, it's giving Venus the opportunity to announce what she's reflected on, announce what she's learned, or what she wants Mercury to do. This could be, we're talking about the sign of the feminine, and Mercury is more of a masculine energy. Mercury is very mutable, but it tends to be more masculine. This could be conversations had between people that have been needing to be had, right? Where Venus needed some time to figure things out. And now Venus is in Virgo looking at the details, and it's as if Venus is like, okay, I think I know exactly how I need to go about this. And when Mercury meets up with her, Mercury being in a sign that it rules, Mercury and Venus are strategizing together on how to go about things. And we see as that, energy plays out and the retrograde cycle continues, a week later, Mercury retrograde officially enters Leo. And again, we're seeing more of a heart focus. So these could be heartfelt conversations. And I think Venus is influencing and opening up that door for those conversations to be had. We will also see 2 days after Venus and Mercury meet up in the sky, Juno enters Libra. Now, at the time that Venus meets up with Mercury in the sky, Juno is at the 29th degree of Virgo, essentially making a Earth trine to Uranus and Taurus. And this is shaking up our commitments, who we're committed to, what work we're committed to, how we're committed to our health, our friendships, whatever it is. You have to look at your chart to see what areas of your chart this is influencing. But Juno making that grand trine to Uranus, there's definitely changes taking place in commitments, right? Now, we also see at the 29th degree, Juno is basically connecting to Pluto and Aquarius, and will continue to be in connection to Pluto as it enters Libra. Okay, it will be making a grand Earth, well, not a grand, but an air trine. But yet, they're all basically still connected, Uranus, Pluto, and Juno. So there's an influence of transformation and really, digging into the new beginnings that Pluto wants in Aquarius, that Juno can bring in Libra, and that Uranus wants to bring for stability in Taurus. Uranus is in a sign that Venus rules, okay? So it's very much Venusian focused energies, but also grounded in an earth sign. Juno being in Libra, the sign ruled by Venus as well. We're talking about balancing the scales. We're talking about Venus energy. We're talking about relationships. So Juno being an asteroid about our commitments and our marriage partners and what we need from our partners, right? This connection is further highlighting what we need from others, how relationships need to change. This could help bring in new relationships. When we see Juno at 0, Pluto at 0, we're talking about a new beginning, the beginning of a new cycle. So there's a lot of focus here on Venus energy during the Mercury retrograde cycle. And when we see Mercury retrograde go back into Leo on the 15th, we're really focusing on where our happiness is. And we will see a few days later the Aquarius full moon. And the Aquarius full moon is going to square Uranus and Taurus. So this will be a very impactful full moon. And I will make a separate video on that. I do have a lot to say about that. But there's a lot of energy happening during this Mercury retrograde cycle, and very much focus on our happiness, our love energies, our Venusian energy, right? Whether it's our creative projects, whether it's finance related or, related to our relationships of any kind, there's a lot of focus on our happiness, our passion, our heart space, okay? And then after the full moon, we will see the retrograde is coming to an end about a week later. So 9 days later, to be exact. So we're seeing a lot of energy build up, especially next week during the retrograde cycle, and the week after that, and then it'll loosen up and become a little easier. And so I don't think this is going to be a really turbulent retrograde cycle unless you have planets between that 21 degrees of Leo or 4 degrees of Virgo, or if you have planets around where Uranus is, as well as where Pluto is. And I think for the most part, if you stay focused on communicating effectively, communicating honestly for what's true to you, and where you're really at, and what really makes you happy in your life. If you communicate from the heart, you can't go wrong with this Mercury retrograde cycle. Now, if this happens to be playing out in a medical situation, I think there's a reason during this time to get a couple opinions, do some research, look where you can tap into your own resources to improve the situation. And I don't mean financially alone. I mean, tap into your own resources as to what you can do to improve your health if there's a health issue going on. If this is work related, I think there's going to be conversations about maybe some new projects where you have to work out the details and be careful about those details during this time, and really pay attention to the fine print. And if this is happening in a social situation, be patient. Be patient, listen to what's being communicated, and listen to the small details, because that may be where you can come to a common ground with someone if there's an issue that happens during this time. So I hope this helps you understand what's ahead with the Mercury retrograde cycle for majority of August. And even when it's over, we will have about a 2-week period of the, shadow where Mercury is making its way back over the same area. We will see in mid-September, essentially, Mercury will be out of the past the 4-degree of Virgo mark. So I do think that towards the end of the cycle, after the full moon, we should see some energy lighten up. It's just the period before that, there may be some intensity, or there may be a lot of things getting revealed, getting discussed, that you just need to be patient with. This, this could be an opportunity to find middle ground, an opportunity to maybe revisit something from the past, whether it's far past or recent past. This is definitely an opportunity for people to work things out in relationships. So, there could be an opportunity to revisit something again, revisit a relationship again, especially with Venus meeting with Mercury at the beginning of this retrograde cycle. So that's all I'm going to say about the Mercury retrograde. I hope this helps you. I hope you all have a great month ahead during this Mercury retrograde cycle and nothing too crazy happens, but please feel free to share how you're feeling this influence. I do respond to all the comments. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate all my subscribers, and I want my channel to grow so I can do this full time and talk more about other aspects of astrology that are just go beyond some of the typical things that I talk about, that I have time to talk about right now. So again, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with more videos. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.